Okay, so I am filming here. Plane just went over the roof. That is, everything in this reality is staged, set up, and about controlling a human being's emotions, because the human being's emotions are is what is well because everything is about really emotion. That means everything is frequency and vibration, they say. So that simply means that the emotion is that is a frequency and vibration which human beings give out but also receive. Human beings have the most potent frequency and vibration. The others that inhabit this earth, see how this gentleman here says there are two kinds of human beings that inhabit earth. Actually, I would say there's three. Only in the sense that although you might have human beings, you actually probably have different human beings, in the sense that just as human beings are created by different creators or different makers, depending on your belief, but that's not really the point. We know that everything is hereditary, or that a large amount of what is hereditary. A lot of things get passed down. You have a human descendant line, which I've never looked into, but there is different human races, but there's also an artificial human race. That's why this gentleman is saying, and I'm going to show the one-eyed thing here, because the one-eyed god of earth, Lucifer, the one-eyed god of earth, has created its master android race. But the dogs are barking to distract me, because even the animals, as people have pointed out, even though I'm reluctant to believe it, because you like to think that animal life is real, but it is still very much controlled by the internet technology that runs through the air, and that is connected to the powers that be and to Lucifer's matrix. In other words, Lucifer's matrix is the earth, or what you think is the earth. It's not the real earth, it's an artificial earth. The real earth is not what I live in, but it looks real, it feels real, because everything has changed. Some people realize this. Some people know that the earth is now controlled by a computer system. Some people know that many life species have become extinct. Most don't know that the real humanity, real humane humans, are being programmed to be out of touch with their true self, but also their actual species is close to extinction on Earth, because over a long period of time, Lucifer's master android race has taken over. That means your demigods of the world stage, but also their servants and disciples that always surround the remaining human bloodline. And when I say that, I only say it because this particular gentleman here making the point. So I'm doing the one-eyed thing because only because this gentleman is also saying that yes, there is the one-eyed invasion, the one-eyed virus android invasion, the one-eyed artificially intelligent androgyne human invasion, that just are human beings, or at least human beings that are artificial in nature. So that means that they're not human because they don't have any humanity. But the desperate situation is that, like this gentleman is saying, they mimic and copy human beings to such an extent because they're connected to your mind with the transhuman connection that we have, that most people underestimate and don't realise is completely valid and 100% real and in full operation right this very moment as I speak in 2024, and has been in operation on myself for the last 7 years straight. Of course, that operation was in place before the last 7 years, but that's when they activated the connection between me and every android, androgyne, pretend human being around me in the local area, so that they could connect with you and patrol and surveil you in an intrusive, aggressive, loud and very psychopathic program around you, because they want to they want to get the persecuted kind of energy that they get from you while they're doing that, because you're extremely stressed and living in fear, because you know you're surrounded by pretend smiling, personable psychopaths that are actually stalking and patrolling you and every vehicle on the road in vast large numbers around you, when there should be hardly any vehicles in the area where I actually go. This I could actually prove 100%, because even the androids themselves will say, yes, the traffic is only thick up on that part of the road where you always go. And I'm like, why is it only thick with massive trucks, massive motorbike gangs? Every civilian car seems to be suffering from road rage, beeping their horns and making modified aggressive sounds from their so-called modified vehicles, I'm told, because normal cars and normal buses and normal trucks don't make those sounds, not unless they're in a unusual situation, I'm told. And you know this because I have lived on this road, these roads around here, for the last 30 years, so I know when it changed, and I know that it's not normal, and I know that it's not normal vehicles, just as you see that their headlights have gone from normal headlights that you wouldn't even notice to excessively high beam flashing lights everywhere on most vehicles, which is very mind controlling and mind distractive. And the powers that be that control Earth know this. They know that it has a hypnotizing, disorientating effect if everywhere you look you see bright flashing lights in your eyes. And that's exactly what my reality is after dark. And of course, even through the day, you could have the sun beating down 100 degrees in the shade, and you will still see almost every second vehicle with bright headlights, which that's just to let you know that they're patrolling you, because they know that when the sun is beating down, that the lights are not anywhere near as glaring or disorientating as of a nighttime. But they're still making their presence felt, making you aware that you are being patrolled by essentially the equivalent of a psychopathic patrol force that is surveilling you and tracking you with the intention of keeping you down, and so that you can't move, because they're around you all the time. They're in front of you, they're behind you, the planes are above you. If you try to cross the road, you walk into one, they've got a total programmed patrol force to where, because they're tracking you and because that is actually their occupation in life, even though they may pretend to have other occupations. In reality, these are people or androids that are specifically put into your area to patrol, watch and suppress you, because they need your negative energy, because they're powered by human energy. Some people call these energy vampires in personal relationships, and that is so. But they're not just in personal relationships. They're in a personal matrix relationship. In other words, it's a controlled psychopathic relationship, but everyone in your area is also a patrolling psychopath android being. Using technology, which means they're connected to technology, they're using the computer systems to track and follow and watch you so that they can imitate being you, because they actually don't have any humanity. And this is the only problem with artificial intelligence or with these artificial beings. They pretend to be you, they pretend to be human, but they actually don't associate with life or relate to it or care about it at all. In fact, they need to suppress it in order for their survival, because they need your negative, suppressed, frustrated, angry, basically persecuted energy. And it really is actually spiritual persecution, really, if you want to look at it that way, because the truth is that human beings are spiritual beings. In other words, they have humanity, which means they have spirit. That's the only difference. See, they're connected to a creator. They're connected to creation. They're created different. They have humanity. They have a spirit. And they're human, so. The others look human, they talk human, they walk human, they copy, they imitate, and they act out better performances than the real humans. You know, because they read your mind, because they're connected to your mind with the transhuman computer technology. That means that most human beings have technology in them that is connected to these android beings and to Lucifer's matrix. The powers that be are the disciples of Lucifer, the God entity of earth. If you don't believe that there is a controlling force controlling the entire earth, you will acknowledge, though, that the powers that be, that there are powerful human-like people that control earth. And you will acknowledge that you're influenced and entertained by the performers of the matrix or of the earth. These are all influential people. They're people that you trust. They're people that you think are creative. They're people that you think are human. They're not. I'm not filming this properly because it's very hard to film when I should have the full screen on, but also this, I just want to show that even this individual here has the one-eye slight affliction, because the one-eyed God tries to enter into your mind through one of your eyes, usually the left eye from my own experience, okay? And that is a weak spot, but it's also where the implants go often. The most intrusive implants are those that they place in your eye. They can be placed in many parts of the body, I'm told. Mine are in my eyes. And of course, there will be substances, chemicals, and foreign particles that are also all over my body, because basically it's a total human mind control earth matrix where Lucifer and its demigods and the powers that be, your world stage performers, or anyone who's anyone, but also anyone who's anyone behind the scenes that controls the function of earth, has the power in earth. That means, like, everything that I need, every industry, every shop, every place where you need for human survival is controlled by powerful figures. But they're not human figures. They're essentially psychopaths in human form. But in reality, they are a different species. They are a different type of human being. They don't have any humanity. They merely use the humanity in humans to copy them so that they can infiltrate the earth and infiltrate the human mind so that you believe in them and you basically trust them. And that's how they do it, because if they didn't study and watch and surveil and suppress the human beings, they wouldn't be able to have as much control in the earth, I wouldn't think. You know, because even though they have talents and abilities, just as advanced artificial intelligence can decipher human thought and human ideas at a very fast rate, I'm told. And you see this on the internet where they copy and imitate the real human thought, but put it in a better form and express it better than what I am right here. So the truth tellers and anyone who's speaking, or even in the local area when they bring issues to light, it's only when I notice the issues, just when I notice the asbestos being played with, not just in the place where I live, but in the huge construction that's all around me. 2 lots of huge construction, where they had an asbestos sign right on the back fence here at this place where I am. But they took it down as soon as I noticed it. But then all the androids pretend that they notice it, but they knew about it from the start. They only bring things to light or mention things when they think a human notices it and wants to bring it to light, because they have to control the narrative. They have to control the truth. They have to be the ones that are the good guys. But they're really not, because they're part of this system. They have Lucifer's mind and the malignant narcissism spirit in their mind. They are part of the thinking virus invasion. In fact, the thinking virus has invaded their mind because they allow possession. They're Lucifer's human vessels. They're Lucifer's human advocates on earth. And they can't make any noise with the mechanical construction site, full staged sound program that they wage against your frequency and vibration at this moment. So instead they've got the dogs going crazy out there barking, and that's actually not as bad as the mechanical sound, but it still gets on your nerves if they do it incessantly. Also, it's disturbing because you think they're distressed in some way. But of course there's so many of them. See, that's another thing too. They brought new people with a huge amount of dogs and puppies, and they've actually broke through the fence and are right at the back of where I am. So, you know, and they're outside, so when it rains and pours and storms and it's getting cold now, you know, it's distressing to know that they're out there. But also, I can't let a dozen pack of dogs in here, and they're not my animals. But at the same time, you know, if you think their life, you feel a bit of you know, but that's all part of the stage play too, and I'm aware of that. So although I feel a bit of an, you know, obligation almost to help life, you also know that it's a setup, because they want me to be tied down with more animals, which always cause me distress. And also then I would, if there was some way of even leaving this area, you know, you'd be concerned about animals, because I had that when the cat from next door started living here, you know. And they put you in that double mind, because you want to have an animal, but at the same time you can't, you know, I'm in a situation where I'm surrounded by an android army, and you're just praying that you'll be able to get out of it somehow, because the actual area, the entire inner west section of the city of Sydney is literally an army android base. These beings are part of this thinking virus invasion. But see, this fella has the implants in his eyes. So one of his eyes is slightly where possession tries to take place through the implant, because when the implant is connected to the android army around you, they literally attack you with their sight and sound stage program around you. And there's nothing you can do about it, because they're vehicles that flash past you. They're people that walk past you on the street, throwing their stalking, psychopathic program around you. But you can't say that you can't say that a whole suburb is stalking you, because you have no connection to those people. It's not like you can say, oh, this is someone that you know. Some of them you do speak to, so you know them as acquaintances or passing. But you can't say that you've had a personal relationship to where they should have some sort of psychopathic vendetta against you. But that's because all these beings have a psychopathic vendetta against humankind, because they are not humankind. They are Lucifer's legions. They are Lucifer's disciples on earth. Everyone from the powers that be to your world stage performers, they're your demigods of the earth matrix, down to your local servants of Lucifer, which are those that surround you. So they all have a purpose in controlling your mind and controlling your frequency and vibration and your emotions and your mood. And they extract that energy from you. They are your android energy vampires. They are what some people call your malignant, narcissistic, psychopathic, paranoid energy vampires, because that is actually the mind of Lucifer, the god of earth. This being has a malignant, narcissistic contempt for humanity, because it wanted to be God and was admired and worshipped as a god until the iniquity of that malignancy was shown, which was not human, you see. It didn't have, although it appeared to be a being of light, it was merely using its advanced artificial intelligence to pretend to be a being of light, just as the demigods of earth and the human beings all around me imitate being the most community, earth-loving and human, dog-walking, pram-pushing, civilised human beings that you can imagine, whereas they are really the complete reverse of that. They only follow rules and regulations superficially, and they create most of the rules and regulations to suppress human beings, while they basically run amok and have total anarchy in their android mindset. Because there's so many of them, because they make up the entire suburb and the entire inner west section of the city of Sydney, where there's only a few human beings and many 100,000 of the androids, basically they can get away with literal human murder. And that's what they do. But it's a slow murder. It's a slow kill, as they call it, and also it's like poisoning someone a little bit at a time to where the poison goes undetectable, but eventually it's lethal. And they're using energy as the poison because they understand the science. Many of them may not even understand it, but they're programmed to do that, and it's to their benefit to stalk and patrol and surveil and track. That's what they do. But the demigods, the elite demigods of earth and the powers that be, and the scientists of earth, they do understand that everything is frequency, vibration and energy, and they know when they get their servant soldiers in the civilian android population. That means those that are not particularly qualified and that are not advanced artificial intelligence. They're, they have skills, but usually most of them have very little skill, so therefore they're like the foot soldiers in an army. Whereas you have like your sergeants, and then you have your generals, and then you have the entire leaders that, the power figures of a whole country, that type of thing. It all goes to where some people have a more higher position of power. But the majority are usually your foot soldiers. They're the androids that, the weasel androids that parasitically stalk and patrol you daily. And even the aeroplanes that go over the roof, which is going over now. But I'm just I don't want to say any more here. I just wanted to, because I was watching this because I don't think I'm explaining it. Actually, I would say have a look at these videos, because this gentleman does explain it better. But then again, the false artificially intelligent androgyne beings of the internet and the computer system and YouTube and any other platform will explain it the best. They are your best disciples of Lucifer, and they are your best imitations of being a human being. Most human beings will buy into them, watch them, trust them, and believe that they are your truth tellers. But they're not, because they're part of this thinking virus invasion. The thinking virus is merely Lucifer's artificially intelligent mind, which is the thinking earth virus, which covers the entire earth. This is a powerful being, and the powers that be are its demigod disciples. If you want to forget about them worshipping a particular god or a particular deity, as they say, that's up to you, but it's probably not wise, because most, even androids or even real humans, usually do believe in some god. They usually worship something. And also, they want to be worshipped themselves. Lucifer is not openly worshipped now, so his demigods are its advocates. They're his disciples, they're the demigods of earth. That means that they're worshipped, but most people wouldn't say, oh, we worship the people that we admire and respect and trust. Or you wouldn't normally say that, whereas in reality you are worshipping false gods, because that's how they deceive you. See, so it's yes, I don't think I explained that very well, but this happens to me, because you've got their, these beings, the androids, have the virus in them. They have the mind control. They have the mind of Lucifer's malignant narcissism in them. But I also am infected with their transhuman virus, because I have the technology implanted in my body. And this is the future anyway. The future is open acknowledgement, open worship and admiration and acknowledgement of Lucifer and the demigods as the supreme beings of earth. But it's really happening now. It's just that it's hidden, like the patrol control force around me. In other words, you have 99% of what's around you being part of this android Lucifer's army, or the powers that be, military army, disguised as workmen, disguised as civilians, driving every truck, every motorbike, every bus, and they swirl around you. In fact, if you get too angry with them, you can almost be knocked over. But that's not what they want to do, because they don't want to be seen as the bad guy. They want to just drive you into the lowest frequency and vibration until you drop naturally of some, you know, what we would call immune toxicity that is created in your body due to extreme negative frequency and vibration, or in other words, extreme stress. It's all just about them understanding how to use frequency and vibration and negative energy, realizing that everything is frequency, vibration, energy, in a slow process of making the last humans on Earth extinct, but also utilizing everything human about them in the process. So it's an extremely clever program from the advanced artificially intelligent God of Earth and its demigod powers that be that control Earth, or your demigod world performers. They're all disciples of and worship Lucifer, the god of Earth, the imitation being of light that really has only ever had contempt and a dark feeling and a dark motive and a dark purpose for humanity. And that dark purpose is the transhuman movement, or the transhuman connection. In other words, the human to mind computer technology connection, which they have implemented into my existence on my mind and in my body, so that I'm connected to all these beings around me, so that they can track and follow and basically stalk me into oblivion. And there's a military android plane going over. Most of those planes don't even need pilots.